Hey everyone, Luke here. Now before we talk about the chapter this week, I just want to say one very quick thing here. As you all know, Shonen Jump is going on break this week. Well, when I say this week, I mean more like this Sunday. So the Sunday after, so week Sunday, that'll be when the new chapters come out. And also next week, unlike what I've been doing during Dr. Stone's break, like it's 3 week break, I won't be doing any videos next week because I am going to be away. I am going to be away from this room, going to be going away on holiday, going to be enjoying myself with my family. So that's something for me to look forward to, being a long time coming, being about 2 years since we've had a family holiday. So by the time we have another one, and speaking of families, we've got to talk about two brothers in this chapter, so let's get started. Okay, so this will be chapter 206 titled Dawn of the Computer. Because obviously, if you remember last time, Sai, he was very depressed that he wouldn't be able to get a computer, so the only thing he could do was make programming. And when Senku was amazingly seen, I was like, right, change of plans, we are going to be making a computer. But first things first, we're going to talk about these two colour pages, which one colour page starts the chapter off with Yuzuriha in a stone petrification form, and saying that it's been about 8 years since we were petrified, which makes sense because they were petrified in 5742, Senku got revived in 5749, and now we're in 5750. So yeah, about 8 years since Yuzuriha was petrified, and she can't count the seconds the same way Senku can, but she still needs to stay conscious. So the fact that she's still remaining conscious even after all these years, that's pretty impressive on her part. And we get a nice little flashback of all the times when Senku, her and Taiju were together whilst they were trying to escape Tsukasa, and she knows that they are definitely going to come and revive her. Although one mystery that needs to be solved is not the mystery of who the Y-Man is, not the mystery of what caused the petrification in the first place, like Y-Man caused the petrification in the first place, not who Senku's real mother is. No, the main question is, what the hell is up with Yuzuriha's headband? Like seriously, this headband has to be like what Parajump said to me on Discord. It has to be made of human bones, because in case you're wondering, that has got petrified. And in case you're actually wondering, 1 second. No. Ha, here it is. Dr. Stone Volume 1. Let's actually go to it. No, seriously. Okay. That headband is not petrified in that panel, but in the latest panel, it is actually petrified. So, okay, seriously, what the hell is going on with that? What the hell is going on with that headband? Like seriously, go back and look at chapter 1 of Dr. Stone. You'll see that the headband is not petrified, but here it clearly is. That's the biggest mystery I want to find out. The mystery of what the hell is up with Yuzuriha's headband. And we get the colour page, which this image right here, probably going to be the image for volume 23. It wouldn't surprise me if that's the case, or maybe volume 24, like 23 or 24, either one. But yeah, Ryusui and Sai, in case you have any doubts, they're brothers. They're doing the same like desirable face there as we get many of the other characters basically chilling out in the sea, which I would appropriate because I'm going to be going on holiday to the sea myself. So I'll probably be like Suika in the background, just chilling out in the sea. But one thing that strikes me about this is while everyone else is just chilling and relaxing, you see Sunu's just like that. Really? Do we have time to have fun? But we see Gen, who looks as though he's stolen Kirasami's multi-boob pocket there, and you see Katsuki just like, well, yeah, give it to me again. But the one thing that struck me about the colour page is that Tsukasa looks high as hell. Although that might be the case because he's just having a relaxing time with Kohaku, who's giving like a wide-eyed face, and yeah, she would give a wide-eyed face if she's relaxing with Tsukasa, if you know what I mean. Anyway, to start the chapter off properly, we see Taiju and his crew returning to Corn City, which I like that. We actually got a follow up to what's been going on with Taiju and his crew in Corn City, which might mean that next chapter we'll get a follow up to what's happening with Sino and his crew in South America. But yeah, Potter Jones pointed this out, that on the side of the mini Perseus that Taiju made, you see like a stamp of Sinu showing that, yeah, I did build this and I want people to know it. But yeah, everyone is revived. Now, the thing that disappoints me most about this chapter is the fact that we didn't get a whole chapter just dedicated to the Corn City team. But then again, I kind of see why they did this, because it would have been quite jarring if later on we got like back and forth, like one chapter with Corn City, one chapter with South America, one chapter with Senku, one chapter with Corn City. I can kind of see why they did that, but it's a bit disappointing that they just didn't give this chapter directly to the Corn City team. But anyway, amazing as well that Sinu's tower is still intact after all these years. But one thing I really like about this chapter is it's kind of like building up more of the relationship between Taiju and Yuzuriha, as the fact that Taiju goes to shake her hand, but Yuzuriha is like, I'm just gonna hug you, Taiju. I knew you'd come for me. And Taiju being Taiju, basically his Doctor Stone sort of like breaks away from its petrification, if you know what I mean. But anyway, we see Yukio and Luna actually explain to Brody and everyone exactly what is going on, like the Y-Man's on the moon, Sinu and Senku have teamed up, we're going to build a rocket to get to space, and yep, Luna finally got to be the peace treaty maker that she got, that she was sent to be. So let's give a round of applause for Luna. And we see Nikki and Brody just giving a glaring like, can we trust each other, considering we were trying to kill each other? Because to them, they were trying to kill each other like not like 5 minutes ago. Like, I know it's been 8 years since the petrification, but in some of their guys' size, we're like, yeah, it's been about 5 minutes since we started to kill each other, and now we're free. So are we going to fight again or not? But anyway, the thing that disappoints Joel most is that he was hoping to have a toast with his fellow technician, but of course Kazuki doesn't appear to be with any of them, which is sad, because I really want that to happen. Like, before the end of the series, I want Kazuki and Joel to have that moment, to have just like that sweet moment when they just sit down with each other and just have a nice toast to each other. And one theory that I actually had about in regards to this chapter is the fact that Kazuki and Joel might be distantly related, because if you remember, Connie, who has a similar like hairstyle, who has a similar like hair color scheme to Joel, she was American, and the fact that she landed in Japan on Treasure Island, that could indicate that that Kazuki is a direct ancestor of her, and therefore might be distantly related to Joel, like maybe Joel and Connie were cousins, like distant cousins, and therefore Kazuki is a distant cousin of Joel from like thousands and thousands of generations from when Connie was alive, and passing it down through the ancestry. So that's just a little theory on my part, but if that's true, that would be pretty cool to kind of tie different characters together through the astronauts from Treasure Island and characters from all across the globe. Taiju goes on to explain that Kazuki is in India with Senku's team, which they probably told them, relayed this in Morse code off screen, and everyone else is like, why would they be in India? Are they going to be crafting something? And Ukio's like, okay, don't panic, don't die of shock, because we're going to be told exactly what's going to be going on here. And of course Senku brings up, we're making a computer, which he relays to them, because as we find out in this chapter, they've managed to build up communication and get in contact wirelessly through radio waves again with Senku, which if that's the case, you're going to have to be extremely careful about the Y-Man up there if he's planning another attack at this point. But anyway, as Senku says that they're making a computer, we get various reactions from everyone, like yeah, we get reactions from Brody, Carlos, and Joel, who are like, "You have got to be kidding me! Like, are you serious?" And then we see Miami going, not dying but well. Like, she's kind of used to it at this point, but it's still like, yeah, this is kind of a big deal. We get the title page as we see them going, like, as we see Gen going. It feels like them we're hitting a major milestone with the Kingdom of Science latest unthinkable crafting project, which this kind of leads into what Sean Oldry was saying in one of his recent videos, the fact that we might not get an antagonist in this arc and it might just be focusing more on the building of the computer in of itself, which would make sense, and it would kind of like, again, make the arcs wholly unique, as like we're not getting like a super big bad for a while at this point. But anyway, we get the mobile lab back. They rebuilt the mobile lab, which is nice. Although Potter Jones was a bit disappointed about them not making a big deal out of it. But then again, they didn't. Some of them didn't make a big deal about losing the mobile lab in the first place. So maybe that's what they were going for here. But yeah, after Ryusui gets Sai up to speed of everything, comes like, okay, we're building a computer and everything. We're gonna go to, and Sai's just like, whoa, slow down, bro. How exactly are we gonna build a computer? And Ryusui's like, Sai, are you kidding me? You were the one who was blubbing your eyes out about wanting a computer. And Sai is like, well, you're not wrong, but still, how are we going to do it in this stone world? And Gen's like, yes, this is an excellent question. What are we using to make it exactly? And I feel like I've already lost to begin with. And to be honest, I was lost as well. It's like, how are they going to build like just like pretty much computer memory in the Stone world? Of course, this being Dr. Stone, we get the exposition here of like computers are all about on-off switches in a world of zeros and ones. So basically, in a world of binary, and yeah, on-off switches, but yeah, you'll still need a plug socket. So you're probably going to have to build a plug socket or a power connector to actually power on this machine, Senku. So he goes on to say, basically finding a way to process those ones and zeros, and you've got what it takes to make a computer. Think of it like the front and back of a playing card or a flag that's either raised or lowered. And Gen is like just popping his eyes out, like basically being like from the peanut gallery, as Senku put it when they were on the ship. He's like, "Cons and Flex gives us a computer," and Suika's like, "Yeah, I still don't understand this." So again, showing that even though Suika is smart and learnt a lot of things during her revival journey, she's still got a lot more to learn than a lot of other people in the series. But yeah, one thing I do love about this chapter is the fact that they spent the 3 weeks getting a computer consultant to actually go through this. So like Boichi and Nagaki actually consulted someone on like how to build a computer. Although I can only imagine what that conversation was like. When they actually went up to this computer consultant, it's like, yeah, we need your help. What seems to be the problem? Well, we want to make a computer, but without any of the modern day advances. So basically, making a computer in a stone world. Okay, I'll see what I can do to help. That I can only imagine what the conversation was like. It was probably not even that dramatic, but seriously, probably the guy who they're probably consulting, or girl, don't wanna assume their gender. So the person that they got to consult the computer, they were probably like, okay, I guess we're doing this now. I guess I'm part of Dr. Stone's consultant team now. So yeah, that was something I was just like imagining what the conversation was like, that Boichi and Inagaki actually had to say to actually get this computer consultant to actually help them to figure out how they're going to make this computer in the stone world. But anyway, going back to the chapter itself, Senku, to best demonstrate the example of why computers are on-off switches, he gives Kohaku and Suika red flags and Gen and Chrome white flags. And the white flags representing the numbers, and the red ones are representing the answers. And this is the job that he gives to Suika. Watch the guy's flags, and if only one or the other is raised, you raise your flag. And Suika's like, oh, is it that simple? And Clark is like, yeah, what do I do with this? And this is where Senku says,
when both white flags are raised together, you lift your red flag. And Reesby goes on to say, this is the basic principle behind all computing. Let's test this out with some basic mathematics. And you see Gen just freaking out here. It's like, because when it comes to the Kingdom of Science, basic mathematics will probably be like something like 13 times 365 divided by 75, or 7,556 plus 155,000 times 255,000 divided by 300. It'll probably be something insane like that. Because he's saying additions already, so he's like freaking out, like, what is these additions going to be? And it leads to probably the funniest part of this chapter, where you see Kohaku, you see Gen and Ryu's. You don't see Gen and Chrome's faces here, but you do see Suika's face here. She's like, I am in heaven right here, and you just see Kohaku with like a serious tonal face here. Like, that face is probably the funniest face Kohaku has ever done. But seriously, it's just like, okay, this is my chance to sign. I get to be part of the scientific theme here. Like, this is my chance to sign. What is it? What is it going to be? What is it going to be? And as they're testing it, they go 0 plus 0 equals 0. 0 plus 1 plus 0 equals 1. So this is when Chrome moves his white flag, and so does Suika. And 1 plus 1 equals 2. So that's when Kohaku raises her flag. So it's kind of like 1 up for Suika, 1 down for Suika, 1 up for Kohaku. So it's kind of like doing it like that, basically. That's basically the way they're doing it here. And Chelsea goes, they ace the test, and Suika's just like, wow, the additional problems got solved automatically. And yeah, Chrome is like, that was kind of obvious though. Before Senki goes on to explain that the thing that provides those obvious answers perfectly is called a circuit. There are all sorts of ways to arrange them. So yeah, kind of like a circuit, like a electrical circuit traveling through wires. That's kind of the motion they were doing there. Before Sai says, it's a simple half adder, easy enough to create with just an EOX gate and an AND gate. And yeah, this is kind of like that kind of like went over my head when I read the chapter, kind of like what it did with Kohaku again here. So yeah, even though Kohaku is not the best when it comes to scientific know-how, even I have to side with her when it's like, yeah, I kind of that kind of went over my head as well. But Sai brings up an interesting point here, is that even with it happening rapidly and electronically, the fact that they don't have semiconductors in the world, and it's going to take them a decade to get that, how are they going to be able to craft a stone world computer? And this is where Senku says, "Oh, we're crafting donuts, fast, cheapy, sturdy, cheap, fast, sturdy. For a brief moment of history, Japan used sheer ingenuity to compete via this donut-shaped computer, which is called the Paramatron, which, judging by the research that has gone into it, let me bring up the Paramatron computer. Paramatron computer. Sorry, guys. It's a logical circuit element invented by Aichi Goto in 1954. It's essentially a resonant circuit with a nonlinear reactive element which oscillates at half the driving frequency, and this is an image of what it looks like. So yeah, pretty damn complicated there, but it's one. According to the Wikipedia article, I know I shouldn't be like using Wikipedia for research, but this is probably probably what the most basic of me explaining it without having to like look it up, and we can all do the research ourselves. But yeah, Power-Mattertrons were used in early Japanese computers from 1954 through to the early 1960s, and the prototype one was built at the University of Tokyo in 1958. So it is nice that they're actually using Japanese computers as opposed to American computers, which is what a lot of people would thought would have actually gone on. But yeah, and that image there, that looks like a massive supercomputer, almost reaching about the length of half the size of my room at this point, which makes me question again how long is it actually going to take. And even if they do manage to build all of this, they're still going to need a plug socket, and they're going to need a monitor, and possibly like headphone radio connection. Now I know they've already got phone connection, but they're going to need like Sai or someone to have headphones on to actually communicate with the spaceship when it actually gets into space, and also get video feeds to actually see what's going on the moon itself. So there's still a lot of little complications that there's going to have to go into actually making this a reality, to actually get to see the Y-Man on the moon, like everyone gets to actually see what the Y-Man actually is. So yeah, Senku goes on to explain that the way to make this donut-shaped computer is mix copper and zinc and bake them into a little donut with wire cord around the whole thing. Now, even though they're making donuts here, I honestly want them to make sweet donuts as well, just to actually just have like a gag going on there where like Chrome takes a donut and just bites into it. It's like, ow, oh, that was one of the donuts for the computer. But anyway. And they're done with the basic components, which everyone is surprised by going that so quick. And this is where Gen gets like really freaked out about this, because it was so quick. He's having flashbacks to when he made the zinc carbon batteries in Ishigami Finish for the phone. He's like, how many of those have we got to make? Have we got to make 800? And Senku's like, no, just five now. And then he's like, oh, so easy. Like, he's like getting excited, like there's something easy going on here. And Senku further explains that the way it works is so simple you wouldn't believe it. Think of it as an electrical swing. The electric oscillations are like a swing moving back and forth. On a real swing, if you have some people swinging one way and some swinging the other, the majority wins out and decides which way it moves. That's the defining trait of the Power-Matron. And Suika puts it in basic simpler terms like, do I have this right? The sappy electricity is sort of swinging back and forth. So like it's always swinging back and forth, which explains why they're doing the whole moving of the arms to raise the flag. So like it's always swinging back and forth to like actually get the circuit working in a current that actually helps power the actual computer itself. That's basically what I'm getting at here. And even though Suika gets it, to the most part, Kaku and Kosuke are just like completely lost here. Before Chrome says, sure, the actual bad science is still kind of confusing, but when you add 1, the output goes up by 1, right? That's how it's capable of basic addition. And we see Sai just getting really excited at this point. And it's like, oh my god, this is actually going to be a reality. I'm actually going to get a computer in the Stone World, the one thing that I actually want here. Before we just cut back briefly to Corn City, where the Corn City are saying like they gave us the exact instructions, so it's on us to make these things, basically making the donuts for the computer. And Yo's like, an actual computer? No way. Before Nikki reminds them that they made diamonds, and like they keep saying, anyone could do science. Again, further emphasizing that anyone, as long as they follow the rules and follow the procedures, they can achieve what scientists could do over the years. Because as Senku put it, science is neither for the rich, the poor, the old, the young. It's for everyone. Again, the moment that made him my favorite character, my favorite MC of all time, when he said that moment, basically just saying like, my gifts are not just for me to have, it's for everyone to have. Like Senku is bringing everyone together through science and basically making them work together to achieve something great for the benefit of humanity. As we get a flashback of Ryusu when he was a kid, obviously playing with what looks like a toy built to actually tell someone like how to build a computer. Which, by the way, can someone tell us what that toy actually is? Because me and Pi Jones were actually trying to figure out what it actually was. But anyway, we see him just
elated and completely happy as they add a circuit acquired. So I guess this is like the motherboard of the computer. Before Sai asks if it's okay for him to try it out, and Senku's like, yeah, when it comes to computers, you're the team leader, Sai, so of course you're the one who gets to try it out. As we see it actually working, much to his complete happiness and delight, as Kawaku says, ha, even with this computer thing, I could have told you that 0 plus 0 equals 1 and 1 plus 1 equals 2. Before Sai goes on to say, but by creating more Paramatron adder circuits and linking them together, then little by little they'll be able to handle bigger and bigger computations until our computer surpasses what we as humans can do. And this is something that Pygems even picked up here, because you see Sai just crying his eyes out, like he's completely delighted they're going to get a supercomputer better than something even he could have ever imagined. And we see Ryusui off to the side just smiling, like he's happy that his brother is happy, which again, I love that dynamic in their relationship. Like, even though they can be annoyed by each other at some points, when they're generally happy for each other, they are generally happy for each other. But one thing is, like, Senku's like just shifting his eyes off to the side, probably thinking about what Sai actually said there, and thinking like, well, maybe what some humans can do. Well, maybe it can surpass what some humans can do. But I'm Senku. That's probably an exaggeration, but wouldn't be too far off of Senku's character. But anyway, they say it's time for us to get building at this right here, as we get a roadmap of the actual computer itself. So we've got copper, zinc, wire resonant condenser, which creates the added circuit, and it's the first step towards my beloved computer. So like, the added circuit is the first step, because we still gotta make the calculator, the computer memory, which was something that I knew was actually going to come. Like, you need computer memory. That's basic 101 of any machinery. You need memory in anything in order for it to actually properly work or function to the level that they want it to function. And we get glass, argon glass, and display, which will probably more than likely be the monitor, be the reference for the monitor. Rusty, iron, magnesium, ferritin, magnet, and computer memory, which I'm most curious about. That, like, how are those three ingredients going to make the computer memory? Which in my eyes seems like they're going to have a roadmap to actually making the computer memory in of itself. That's not just these three components, because we were saying in Discord server, in the Control Chaos Discord server, that this looks like the bare basic map, but it's going to be like other roadmaps for many of these other components that come after after the calculator is made, before we actually get to the NES. Before we see a ROM cartridge and a program. Like, I honestly want to know how they're going to make the ROM cartridge. Like, what's the ROM cartridge going to be made of? Is that going to have its own motherboard, or it's also like, there's so much to unpack here. But one thing I'm very proud about is the fact that they actually added a power plant here, which obviously means that we are going to get plug sockets, because I want to know how you would make a plug socket for a computer in the Stone World before we reach the goal, which is the Paramatron supercomputer. So yeah, pretty basic roadmap, but I reckon there's going to be more to this roadmap than meets the eye. And I reckon there's going to be, like I said, when we got the roadmap for the spaceship, we had those components steps to the spaceship. One of them being computer, but I also said that there would probably be roadmaps for the individual steps along that spaceship roadmap, considering we've got to go from level 1 to level 99 with the spaceship. So yeah, we're going to have to get a level 1 computer, and then probably get a level 50 computer, and then a level 99 supercomputer. So yeah, that's probably where we're going for with this. So yeah, I love the fact that was kind of brought up, the fact that all the components for the roadmap for the spaceship need a roadmap in of themselves. So that was great that they actually brought that up. We cut back to Corn City as we see everyone going, so we're combining lots of these. Why do I feel, and we see Yuzuri going, why do I have a nasty feeling about what
comes next. Like, she knows exactly, like, with something as big as this, there's going to be a lot of work coming in. And Gen is bracing himself as well. Okay, brace yourself. We're going to probably have to make about 800 of these, so it's going to be a lot of work, but we can get through this. I made the zinc carbon batteries. I made about 800 of them along with the help of people, so we can do it. But of course, this being Senku, it's not going to be that easy, and it's actually 200,000 of these donuts that they have to make, which of course gets the reaction that you probably would have expected. The "say what" reaction. Before he goes on to say, we're creating machinery that pumps out metal donuts, plunging us into the age of automation. But the hard labour of calling the wire is up to Yuzumiya and the handicrafts corps up there. Keep reviving loads of folks to populate Corn City and throw your new labour force into this task. The computer is the apex of humanity's crafting, and making one is going to take both machine and manual labour. We've all got a part to play if we want to pull this off. Are you up to the challenge? And Ryusui gets looks from everyone. It's like, yeah, we're up for the challenge, as we see everyone united together, and that's where the chapter ends. So yeah, we get Yuzumiya giving her signature. Sorry, it got a little bit blurry there. Giving her signature peace sign. So yeah. We're up for the challenge, and that's where the chapter ends. So, what an exposition dump chapter there, but really good exposition. We got the first steps onto building the computer, what kind of computer we're going to be making, and yeah, just getting everyone back from Corn City now, so that we can have a few chapters with them. When I say a few chapters with them, I mean a few panels in each chapter, so that we're not actually just like, okay, we're going to spend 2 chapters with them, then we're going to cut back to Senku City, then we're going to spend 2 chapters with South Mega, then cut back to Senku City. Because again, even though I would personally not have a problem with that, I can see why a lot of people would have a problem with that, because that would be too jarring a feat to actually go through. But yeah, not much else to say on this chapter. Just really good chapter, really good reuniting of the idea that everyone, as long as they follow the rules and as long as they follow the guidance and instructions of the people that have come before them, can do the science itself, and it is possible, even for people who are not the sharpest tool in the shed. People like Magma, even he could probably pull this off as well, and he's going to have to, because he is part of the Corn City team. Now, it was quite disappointing that the first thing that didn't happen as soon as they woke up was like, okay, Brody, are we still going to go along with this? Because I imagine that's something that Magma would do. Oh, it's getting a bit hot in here, guys. But yeah, so pretty good chapter. Really looking forward to seeing what else is going to be to this roadmap, and looking forward to seeing what else is going to be coming of building this computer, because I feel like this arc is going to take quite a bit of time now. Like, we're pretty much now officially in the Math City arc, or the Age of Computer, or the Dawn of Computer arc, whatever we want to call it, whatever the wiki's going to call it. Is it going to be the Indian arc, the Math City arc, or just the Age of Computers arc? So that's really all I have to say for this chapter. And like I said, no video next week because we're going to be on holiday, so we'll be back in 2 weeks to talk about chapter 207. But anyway, guys, what did you think of this chapter? Let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. And this will be Lashaluk signing off. Later, guys.